tribe, this honey dripping down my skin. Come feel my vibe, the undercurrent love affair that you and I.
What are some of your biggest accomplishments, personally and professionally, that you've had over the course of your career so far?
Yeah. Wow. That's a question for my therapist. That's pretty amazing. Learning how to be flexible with motherhood in my motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's, yeah. The more you learn, the more flexible you need to become in order for it to be something that is real and it is allowed to kind of grow. Learning that I can be even more outside the box than I thought originally. Where I was coming from in my education was so almost exclusively academic and very, very classical.
Yeah.
And me going outside the box was like contemporary music, right? And being really expressive on stage and really just not having any inhibitions in terms of expressing the words. That was my idea about thinking outside the box, and that's beautiful. I accept that version of me. Now I recognize that really one of the accomplishments is going beyond and saying, just like you had said a moment ago about the number of audience or anything like that, that there's quality in me going to a jazz club and singing there, just as much as there is sitting in my house and rehearsing with a group, just as much as in doing some African drum circle and learning how to kind of express my vocalizing and my singing and my soul that way. And also showing it to the world, not just, I'll experiment with that so I can bring it back to my little classical bubble, but more like, no, I'll stand on stage and I'll sing whatever this occasion is. And I've been doing more and more of that. And yeah, I think that's
yeah.
To you, yeah.
That's beautiful. And I think that's such a unique answer that, a lot of people would say that, you've won a Grammy, you've sung all over the world, you've done, you are where young sprouting artists achieve, hope to be someday. And now that you're kind of living what you may have dreamed about, when you were in school, when you were in Juilliard, looking at it from that perspective, what do you think, you would say to those people now that you're you are where they hoped to have been?
I think we need another masterclass in Fredonia. That's what I think. It has to do, I would say, keep cultivating beginner's mind. It's like the Zen. It's that Zen concept. And always through complete acceptance and love of yourself, of others, so that when you're doing something new and it's not working, that's fine. But to continuously cultivate a sense of going at things for the first time, seeing, not having any not having preconceptions about who you are, about what the world should be, how, and to approach the art that way and life, It's a very joyous experience. And then kind of goal setting doesn't become this, it's okay. And I know sometimes for certain people, I think it works wonders. And that's fantastic. But it doesn't become this over important kind of onerous, heavy experience that somehow signifies whether or not, like you said, you're successful. But it just becomes some step in the road. And I guess a step in the road of further self-discovery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So switching gears a little bit,
Cool.
you've obviously written quite a bit of music, collaboratively on your own and performed it. So how would you describe your writing process? Like, what is something that's like typically inspires you, and how do you take from that either like contemplative inspiration to writing, or like what does that look like?
Oh, you know, and do you write?
I haven't in a while, but
you have.
I have.
Yeah. So you probably get a very deep sense when you even ask that question, right? And I would love to have just you and I a conversation about it sometime. I think every creator, in a sense, has a hard time maybe talking about it, maybe not, but I sure do.
Okay.
It all has to do with kind of an essence of things. Somewhat similarly to my performing, because when I work on somebody else's piece, there's kind of this going into the essence of the thing. A lot of songs and things that I write myself come from just a seed of a kind of personal, not just an experience, but a kind of certain personal feeling that kind of keeps tapping at me. I want to be expressed. I want to be expressed. And a lot of times it's either kind of a little cell of words that all of a sudden it's like, that's how those words are the core of what that expression is, and let's go from there. Sometimes it's a cell of music, a musical kind of idea, or where it's like, oh yes, that for me feels like the expression of that essence, and I'm going to try to see what comes from there. Collaboratively, it's such a whole different experience in a way, but really beautiful because it requires even more surrender. I've loved my collaborations with anybody, because that no judgment mind that you try to teach yourself, you have to kind of go, let's just see what they bring, what I bring, what is it bringing up further, and a real kind of openness to sharing. And sometimes the most magical stuff happens because of it. Yeah, that's about what that question brings up for me.
Okay, awesome. What was one of your favorite moments as an artist? And that wasn't all the way over. Let me just start that over. What was one of your favorite moments as an artist, and how has that influenced you? And then conversely, what is one of your lowest moments as an artist, and how have you overcome it? Or how, and also like, how has it shaped you?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, because many things are coming to mind. I'm going to talk about one of the lowest ones, just which is actually just hilarious.
Okay.
And it was, it's kind of a longish story, but I had won this grant in Israel from the Israeli Opera when I was still at Juilliard, and during the summer I went to visit Israel, and they wanted they wanted for the winners of this grant to make a little concert for the donors and for, you know, kind of the board. And I said, absolutely. But they really wanted me to sing with the tenor. And he was this wonderful, humongous Russian tenor. And the only thing he knew was the duet from La Traviata, which is completely wrong for me. So, but I was like, you know, but you want to please. And so I decided I would do it. And that's not even the story, okay? So I did. I performed it with him, and it was okay. It really wasn't that great. Being completely honest, he was great. I just didn't sing it all that well. At that same concert, my parents came, and my dad had just acquired his first video camera. This is years ago, okay? Yes, and he never even. I think he literally took it out of the box during that concert, and then. You know, the whole set of events, and he didn't even know how to use it. I think he pressed a button that basically said birthday fun on the entire recording.
Oh my goodness.
The whole thing. And I'll tell you how he recorded it in a minute. So this is a few years later, and I'm at Juilliard, and I go to my mailbox at Juilliard, and I open the mailbox, and I get this package, and it's from the Placido Domingo Operalia competition, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I never even applied for this competition. What is this? This is so weird. And I open up this package, and inside, and there's this letter that says, "We're so sorry, your audition did not pass the first round you know, of the Placido Domingo Operalia competition." And I'm like, what? First, I have no idea what this is about. And this is what do you call it? Videotapes, right? I go to the lounge in our dorm room, and I put the tape in, and it's my dad's recording. My mom had sent this recording, my dad's recording. Not only do I sound terrible, you hear mostly the tenor, but you don't even really see us. You see like feet and, you know, ceiling and the thing all over the place. And okay. So at first I was horrified. And it was an opportunity to say, just to really learn how to let things go.
Yeah.
You're going, not only that, not even be angry at my parents. You know, they're doing their best. They want so well for their daughter, and every person's going to be in life whoever they are, you included, with all your weird, my idiosyncrasies. And it was a real exercise in just learning how to laugh at myself. Like, really, like, this is horrible. It was horrible when it happened, and now it's even more horrible. That it could be more horrible. That's amazing. Okay, so that's that's one of my very low stories. I have more. For today, this is enough.
Just a long series of unfortunate events that completely out of your control.
That literally show me as an artist, right? Yeah. Oh my God. And then, oh God, I'm trying to think of the highest points, because again, most of the stuff that, so, I mean, there's been a number of very high points as a kind of virtuosic artist that I've had chance to accept. One of the first ones was, there's a composer, David Del Tredici, who I perform pieces of whose pieces I perform a lot. And there was a new piece he was writing for these kind of, I think it was like 200-year celebration of New York Phil or something like that, some big New York Phil celebration. And it was an enormous piece called Spider and the Fly. Or maybe he was just commissioned, forgive me, I don't remember the occasion. And they didn't want me to sing it. He wanted me to sing it. They didn't want to because I was an unknown for them, which is completely understandable. They wanted somebody who they know. And it was so difficult that I think 3 different sopranos, one after the other, ended up canceling, like saying they would do it and then saying they won't do it. So by 2 weeks from the performance, they had nobody and they called me. And that it was just a real, now just thinking back on it, because I haven't thought of this experience in many, many years, the kind of saying yes to yourself and saying, because the piece, it's insane. And yes, I'm a strong musician and I really can learn things by heart. But looking at the score, I'm not sure what cloud I was on, but somehow there was this inspiration of I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and it was an incredible experience because the piece was also really wonderful, really hard, but really wonderful. And it was one of the first experiences for me of kind of stepping up and being this performer that I believed in, And that's the memory of that, which is interesting. And it wasn't so much about, I get to sing with, at the time it probably was, I get to sing with LA Phil and Court Mazur and and all this kind of external stuff. But now that I think of it, it was more that I was showing myself that I trust myself and I can do something, and I can commit to it. And I worked my butt off. I would for hours at night, I would just study the score. And then I went to New York and we did it. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was a confidence builder and showing you that a combination of the things that you've learned and experienced and show that you could actually do it to yourself.
Yeah. And also taking a risk with your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this idea that you might fall completely flat on your face, but you're still going to go through it and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.